Hey, what's up, guys? Dylan Johnson from Soccer Mag here, and welcome back to another episode of Mixing with the DJs. I'm joined by my fellow DJ Dylan Jack, and today we'll be doing a preview for match week 10 of the Premier League. Lots of news has happened. There's been Carabao Cup, great games this weekend as well. I think we should just get straight into it. What do you think?
Yeah.
First game, we have a massive one. Newcastle versus Arsenal on Saturday. No Saliba. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
So his second game is missing.
Yeah. Obviously Saliba still, but I think Timber's fit, isn't he?
He played he played last night at the time of filming.
He played in the EFL Cup, so that's an injury boost for them, and they'll say, "Oh, but we got no Saliba, we got no Gabriel," but you've got, the injury list isn't really that long, or the suspended list. So, and they're facing a Newcastle side that is desperate, absolutely desperate for a win. I was looking now. I don't think they've won since September against Wolves. There's been some credible performances, like in the draw against City. I don't think they've not necessarily been bad. They just haven't been able to get results. They've had a lot of chances. They haven't been the most clinical side in front of goal. So they will be at home, will be absolutely desperate to pick up the 3 points.
And I think they can, Saka's fit, which is probably Arsenal's most important player.
Yes.
But I think Newcastle will be looking at Arsenal and looking at how they played against Liverpool last week, where they did fade off a bit.
Yeah.
That they can definitely target Arsenal here at home, like you said. And no Saliba, no Gabriel. It's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal handle that, because I don't think I can't remember seeing that for
Did they shift Ben White and did they put Timber at centre back? Did they put him as right back?
I think Ben White, he played well enough against Liverpool. Maybe they'll put Partey at right back again.
Yeah.
Because I think he did do well against Luis Diaz.
Yes,
but it'll be interesting to see, because I feel like I can never really... If everyone's fit for Arsenal, I know exactly what he's going to do. But I have no idea what he's going to do now. So, it'll be interesting. I'm going to go for maybe a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
Because I think Arsenal's attack's good enough with Saka to really cause serious problems. Yeah. And I think they won, was it 5-2 or something, or 5-0 or something against... I don't even know who it was, but it doesn't matter in the Carabao Cup. So I think offensively they'll be in good enough form. It's just dealing with Newcastle attack with someone like Isak, who is a nuisance to
he can be a big
defend. I'm going to go for 2-2.
Yeah, I'll go for 2-1 to Arsenal. I think set piece, I still think without Gabriel, that's a bit of a blow, but I still think they got the technicals right at set piece time. They're still a massive threat from that, and they've still got a massive goal threat. And I think Newcastle have been known to let a couple in. So, I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal.
Okay. Next up, we have another exciting game. I think more because of the context of their game against Arsenal, but Man City away to Bournemouth. Yeah. This could be huge. Yeah. I think I was reading an article where Guardiola said he only has 13 fit players because Savinho got injured last night. I think Akanji got injured last night. Ruben Diaz apparently got a knock. So if we're talking about an injury crisis, that really is... De Bruyne. Apparently Gvardiol's injured as well.
Cheapest.
So I don't know what team he's going to put out there. But I think, knowing City, they'll have 5 or 6 pretty good 18-year-olds coming in that are hiding in the academy. I think this is going to be an interesting game. I don't know. I think favouring Man City is obviously easy, but Bournemouth have been in great form. Yeah. And, great result against Villa, great result against Arsenal. Yeah. I think also I really want them to drop points. I really want them to drop points.
Of course you're tempted to
so maybe I'll go for like a 1-1, something like that, where
we might see something similar from when Newcastle hosted City, where maybe City have a lot of possession, but they don't have the players to penetrate. And we've been seeing that a lot with City, that Haaland's been caught up alone by himself, and he's often being double-teamed or triple-teamed, and the City wingers without De Bruyne there in midfield aren't able to pick him out. So I think we might see something similar to that. And then Bournemouth just need 1 or 2 chances on the counter-attack and they can get a goal. We saw that against Arsenal. So I'm gonna go for a 1-1. I think will be a fair call. Yeah.
And I also think, judging by City, if we're including the Spurs game yesterday, how vulnerable they are on the counter-attack. I think Spurs had about 10 plus great opportunities on the counter-attack where City were wide open. It felt like it was one defender versus Werner, Solanke, and Kulusevski.
Yeah.
And Ortega had to make some massive saves.
Exactly.
And then also the other side of when they do have lots of possession against Southampton, they're not breaking through. So I think Bournemouth have the counter-attacking threat, and I think they can defend well enough to put City under huge pressure. So it'll be great to watch that game. After this, it feels like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like Ipswich and Leicester, they play every week. It just feels like they play
against each other
every week.
We've been previewing this game 5 times.
Ipswich versus Leicester. I think I'm just going to give this a 1-0 Ipswich home win.
Yeah, I think so. Or
Leicester haven't been in bad form.
They haven't been in bad form. They took a bit of a smacking, but they did rest a lot of guys against United in the EFL Cup. But it could be, I'm going to look at a 2-1 to Ipswich. I think Ipswich do have a lot of threat, obviously, up front. They play these are two teams fighting relegation that actually play decent football. But you've got Vardy who's on a bit of a run now, so he might net again. But I think that Ipswich are overall the better footballing side, so I'm going to give them the win playing at home. Yeah.
Okay. Now also the third, we were saying that this weekend's got some great games.
Yeah.
If you don't support a single team, this is a great weekend to get into football because there's 5 massive games. Liverpool versus Brighton at Anfield.
Cheapest.
And this could be huge for the title race in that there's a genuine opportunity here for Liverpool to go top. I mean, Newcastle, Arsenal away, Man City away, both not at full strength.
Yeah.
They could both drop points this weekend. And Liverpool, even though they're missing Jota, they're missing Alisson, they really could, do something this weekend. And, I mean, looking at the game, you can't really judge the midweek game against Brighton because Liverpool rotated so much.
Yes.
I mean, the back 5 was third goalkeeper. I mean, Robertson started, but it seems like he's the reserve left back at the moment
he's
in his
fallen
current
down
form.
the pecking order.
Gomez, Kwanzaa, Bradley back, first game back. Even midfield, starting Endo. This was a massively changed team. And I think first half it was a bit iffy. Second half, way better going forward. But 2 mistakes let Brighton back into the game, makes the scoreline look like it favours them a lot more.
Yeah.
But Brighton are obviously, on any day, they can beat anyone. And I think that they'll learn a lot from Liverpool last night. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Liverpool. I think it will be edgy, though. I don't see Liverpool winning this comfortably. I think Brighton will have huge chances. Their forwards are similar, like we were saying with Isak there. They're nuisances. They don't stop.
Yeah.
Even if they're 3-0 down, they don't stop.
Yeah.
So Liverpool won't ever be comfortable. Maybe there'll be 10, 15-minute periods where Liverpool have a lot of the ball. But this game isn't going to be an easy day at the office, I think.
No. And you've got one particular striker in form who's going to be coming for Liverpool.
That guy
Welbs. No, Danny Welbeck's been superb. I'm going to go for a 2-2, I think. I think this is a good, entertaining, as you say, very entertaining weekend for football neutrals. This has a high scoring, because Brighton have their threat, but again, like some of the other mid-table teams, they concede quite a lot as well. They're struggling to keep clean sheets. So I think this has a 2-2 written all over it.
Okay. I'm sure you'd love that.
Yes.
Now, after that, we have Forest versus West Ham. And actually, looking at, I'd say, all the games, there's something to fight for in every single one of these matches.
Yeah.
I think Forest are around 7th now.
Yeah.
But West Ham, if they get another win, they jump up the table.
Yeah.
So I think Forest at home, they are too solid. I think Chris Wood's in too good form. He's in great form.
Yeah.
And I can't rely on, I don't trust West Ham enough.
No.
Maybe a 1-0 Nottingham Forest, or maybe a 2-1, give West Ham a goal.
Yeah. I mean, straight up, West Ham were abysmal in that first half against United, and they should have lost that game. They really should have. United should have been 3-0 up. But and if they reproduce that first half against Forest, Forest won't make the same mistakes, I don't think, because that was a very low on confidence United, and this is a high-flying Forest team. So I think, 2-1 to Forest is a good call.
Then after that, we have Southampton versus Everton. And I like going back to the Ipswich-Leicester thing. It feels like Everton, Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester
always playing each other.
Playing each other at least like every week. One of them are playing each other. This is an interesting one. I think I'm going to go for an Everton 2-1 away win. Yeah. I think they are playing better than Southampton, even though Southampton fronted up against Man City.
Yeah,
I feel like that's one of those games where teams are going to have one of their better performances. Maybe they'll concede lots of goals, but it's easy to get psyched up for City.
Yeah,
it's not easy to get psyched up against Everton.
No.
You know, at home.
Yeah,
I know it'll be a massive 3 points for them, but I think Everton are just a better side.
Yeah, I think they're in a bit of a better groove. They, as you say, just a bit of a better side overall. And I don't think Southampton necessarily have the strike force to score more than one goal per game. So I think giving this to Everton. Yeah,
cool.
2-1.
Then we have Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Another relegation fight. Yes. Palace, obviously, massive win against Spurs last week. Wolves, 2 good performances in a row.
Yeah.
This is a tough one to me because I think Wolves at home, I'm going to have to back the home side here because I don't think there's much between them. They both have been underwhelming this season, but like we've said, Wolves had probably the most difficult start to a season you can imagine.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll go for... Thing is, Palace aren't really scoring a lot of goals, so I don't even know if I can give them a goal. So maybe I'll say 2-0 Wolves.
Yeah.
Relatively,
that's fair. Yeah. I think that Wolves, like we just said now with the Southampton, I just think Wolves have been the unluckier of the two teams. I think Palace have just straight up been poor. The Wolves have just been unlucky with the draw that they've received. They've actually been putting in very good performances in these games. It's just they've faced teams that are just better than them, and they are better than Palace. So, yeah.
And I think they've consistently been scoring goals. Yes. They've just been conceding too many, whereas Palace haven't been scoring at all.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier to fix Wolves' problems than it is Palace's.
Yes, exactly.
Then on Sunday, we have a Super Sunday, as they would call it in England. Tottenham versus Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And Tottenham got their win midweek, so they're going to lose this game.
So we know they're going to lose. And Villa aren't coming off of a European match.
So this is, I mean, Spurs are just... I feel like both these teams are very unpredictable. You don't know... Yeah. The one thing, I guess... Villa seem like they're harder to beat. They don't lose. No. Where Spurs will, like they beat Man City last night, should have won 4-1 or 5-1, could go and lose this 2-0 to Villa at home.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give Villa a 2-1 win, just because of the only reliable thing about Spurs is how unreliable they are. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking.
I'm going to go 3-2 to Villa. I'm going to go for a real entertaining one, real blockbuster to get the Super Sunday started. Sunday. I just think that, as you say, Villa, just more of a settled team this season, not as vulnerable as Spurs are. I think if Ollie Watkins does have the right shoes on this time, he could really cause Spurs some problems with that high-lying defence.
And I think also Spurs, Mickey van der Ven got injured last night, and Romero could be injured. Blow. So Ben Davies at centre-back against Ollie Watkins. I don't know about that. I think it'll be an interesting game. There will be goals.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, your one. Do you have something to get off your chest after last week?
What a flippin' week it's been, my word. Jeepers, what has happened? Last week on Monday we were sitting here and I was just like, oh my word. Are they going to keep Erik ten Hag until November? And literally an hour.
It was literally like the room was bugged.
It was, literally an hour. It kind of just ruined that video because an hour after the last episode was filmed, we get the news that Erik ten Hag has been sacked. And as I said, I thought they would... I genuinely thought they would have given him until November just because of how they approached it the last time. But I think it was that home loss against Spurs that was the one, because right after that home loss against Spurs, you had that quarterly meeting with the Glazers and Ineos and all the big wigs at United, and it was quite clear that was when the decision was made. Listen, we need to start finding, or we need to reignite the search for a new manager, and that's where they made the decision. And fair call. I mean, Erik ten Hag, we were going through the statistics. The Premier League put up like an analysis piece on their website, and it was so brutal. It was brutal on Ten Hag. he just, the call was bound to be made at some stage. I'm just glad they've made it now. And Ruud van Nistelrooy taking over as interim. This will be his first Premier League home game. He had his first home game, a good 5-2 win against Leicester in the EFL Cup. United scoring, I think, 4+ goals for the first time since Ollie's been in charge. I don't think United have actually scored sort of 4+ goals. So, yeah, massive, win for United in the midweek. It was a very good performance in midweek. Not much you can, it's probably just new manager bounce.
Yeah.
More than anything,
or just, old managers, like Ten Hag's gone.
Exactly,
finally.
Ten Hag's gone, the chains have been taken off. And it did feel that way a little bit with some of the players. It felt that way with Bruno, it felt that way with Casemiro. I thought he was excellent. I thought Ugarte was sensational next to Casemiro. So, yeah, I actually think that United have a good chance going into this, despite the contrasting run of form. I think Chelsea have been a superb run of form so far. But I actually think United, with the new manager bounce, with the guys getting a little bit of a lift, and maybe just a few tactical tweaks as well from Ruud, they might have an opportunity now to kick on a little bit, get a good home win against Chelsea. Chelsea, as I say, been excellent. Cole Palmer's just been one of the players of the season, and that's going to be the danger man, obviously, for United to watch out for. And that's probably going to be Ugarte's job, is to make sure that Cole Palmer doesn't get it in space, and make sure when he gets it, you're on top of him. It's almost going to be like an Ander Herrera marking Eden Hazard type of situation, possibly. Just make sure he doesn't get it in space and doesn't get shots off and releases anyone on the counter. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 to United.
Okay, that's massively optimistic.
It is.
I mean, the new manager bounce is a massive thing. It is real. But
this could be anything.
Yeah,
that's the thing. This could be Chelsea snatching it. It could be a goalless draw for all we know, and it could be a lots of goals draw.
This is a difficult one because we've seen it before with United where they are terrible.
Yeah.
But manager change and they'll be. I mean, when Ollie took over, it was completely different side. It was the same players, but the team was completely different. Yes. I mean, Chelsea also bad loss to Newcastle in midweek. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to back Chelsea though. 2-1 Chelsea.
Okay.
I think United will definitely be better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's still the same players.
It is, yeah.
And I think also the fact that it seems like Ruben Amorim is going to be taking over in maybe a week or two, not right now.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll throw Ruud under the bus as well. And just get rid of
come
him
on. Not my boy Ruud.
Maybe a 2-1 Chelsea, but I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I think it will be, yeah.
Just wondering, what are your thoughts on Amorim taking
I'm
over?
actually really excited. He was the outside bet. It seemed like, all the talk was about Xavi, all the talk was... Tuchel before that. They were looking at Nagelsmann, but obviously Julian Nagelsmann, he would have been my favorite, but he's contracted to Germany and he seems quite committed to guiding Germany through to the next World Cup. So that was clearly out. And maybe he comes in, because it appears that they've appointed Amorim on a 2.5-year deal. So that would open the door.
Which is interesting because it's
not like
a young manager. Yeah. 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Basically, the first 6 months is going to be written off, essentially, because he's taking over and putting out fires.
Yes.
But again, that goes to the point of United. If you really want to back a manager, 2 years just isn't enough.
No, it isn't.
With the competitiveness of the Premier League, it takes 3 or 4 years to just get the players you want and stabilize the system, implement everything you want to do. Yeah. 2 years, 2.5 years just doesn't seem like...
No, it's not necessarily enough, but
you're not backing him fully.
But there's every chance that we could next season give him a contract extension if things are starting to go well. There's no writing that off. I still think Nagelsmann is probably the long-term target.
The World Cup, I think, is in 2.5 years,
Yes,
isn't it?
exactly. Yeah, it's in about 2.5 years. So I think Nagelsmann is still But I'm really excited. I mean, reading up about Amorim, he's a Mourinho sort of pupil, did a lot of studying under him, obviously worked with some of United's and played with some of United and against United. Guys like Eriksen and Lindelof playing against him. He's still quite young, still 39.
Not even 40 years, which
he's
is
39,
quite crazy.
Which, I mean, it might bring some new energy in, a bit of a different energy to what Ten Hag brought. He's known to be quite a good communicator, he likes keeping to his standards, which is good. I like that he holds a high standard. And I want to see him sort of, one of the issues with Ten Hag was that he tried to immediately apply what happened at Ajax and suffered those 2 big losses. And then it almost felt like somewhere down the line, he sort of turned his back on what he wanted to do and instead sort of tried to mishmash it.
Kind of felt like, he's in the boat and he's taking, with a bucket, throwing
water out and it's still coming in. Yeah. And I want to see Amarim back himself. He's a young guy. You've got this job for 2.5 years. It's not necessarily the longest contract. Just back yourself. What do you have to lose? You could become the guy that turns United around, that saves United. This is a huge opportunity for him, and that's how he must see it. I think he must see it as an opportunity rather than I know there's the whole media burden on him and the spotlight's going to be on him, as it is with any United manager, more than any other club. So he must just embrace it and embrace the opportunity. And I am excited. You look at what he's done at Sporting, another team that used to be a really sensational side in Portugal, and kind of had their struggles, fell well behind Porto and Benfica, and then on a lower budget than what Porto and Benfica has had, with players getting poached from all over. United poached Bruno Fernandes.
Ugarte was there.
Ugarte was there. He was poached by PSG. Nuno Mendes, one of the brightest young midfielders, gone to PSG as well. And he's just rebuilt that team, and they've made an unbeaten start to this season. I think they won the title last season, didn't they?
I'm pretty sure he won it in his first season.
He won it in his first season there,
He's won more than a trophy every year since he's been there. So
it's an exciting appointment, I think. I like a lot of what I read about Amarim. So, let's back him, get behind him, and hopefully he gets United turned around.
And I think another interesting thing about it is that watching press conferences and stuff, he seems way more charismatic.
He does, definitely.
No disrespect to Ten Hag, but he always felt cold, but almost like the way he approached press conferences was like he was very. It felt he was very defensive.
It was just kind of like, got to get through this again. It wasn't an opportunity to communicate to the fans. It was just like he felt like this was another burden that he had to get through. Yeah.
So I think that'll be a nice change up, because I don't think. I mean, besides Oli, who was charismatic, but in a different way because he's club legend.
Yes.
I think that having a manager that is likable gives him way more time.
It does, yeah.
Because I don't think Ten Hag ever had that. It was riding on the Ajax success that gave him time more than the fans loving the manager.
Yes, yeah.
So I think it'll be a good appointment. I think it's young, exciting. It's following the trend of where management seems to go, that these young ex-players that have recently retired seem to be driving. It's not guys that have been retired for 20, 30 years that are almost like scholars of the game. It's guys that are like recently retired, new, fresh ideas that, it is very exciting.
Yeah.
Then the final... my score. I said 2-1 to Chelsea.
I said 2-1 to United. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Then Monday, we have Fulham vs Brentford. And another exciting game for the neutral. There definitely could be lots of goals here.
Yeah.
Personally, this is a tough one. I might go for maybe a 2-1 Fulham win. I think it feels like I'm going 2-1 for every game.
Every game that you don't know.
But looking at every game this week, it's
so
there's no clear winner, because in some of the games the better side are away from home, and it's always it's teams that are contesting in similar areas of the table.
Yeah.
So. 2-1 Fulham just because they're at home. Yeah. I'm not sure what your thoughts are.
I'm going to go for maybe a 2-2, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think both of these teams, Fulham's maybe been a bit more defensively solid, but this is also sort of built for a 2-2 sort of draw. I don't really see either team being obviously better than the other. So, I think 2-2 is a fair call.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Dill. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That has been Mixing with the DJs preview for Game Week 10 of the Premier League. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Is Ruben Amorim a good appointment? Will Liverpool go top of the Premier League table this weekend? Will Arsenal and City drop points? And do you think United can bounce back and finish in Europe?
Ruud's at the wheel. Ruud's at the wheel. Give him the contract.
Thanks for joining, Dill.
Thanks.
Cool.